everyone.
What's up guys, Unofficial MCU here. Hope you're all doing well and welcome to my Marvel's Secret Invasion Episode 3 review video. We're gonna go ahead and hop right on into it. The now halfway point of Marvel's Secret Invasion offers a clearer look at the Rebel Scrolls' grand plan, and it's hard to believe that we're already halfway through this 6-episode miniseries, but in doing so throws further clouds over what the show is trying to really achieve, is what IGN in their article reads. When trying to be a convincing spy thriller show as an overall genre, it occasionally excels at that, with solid performances lifting it above its languid visual style, but all too often feels like a series never fully confident in exactly what it is. Instead, it looks back on the tried and tested MCU methods rather than before, and rather than creating something exciting on its own right in a new direction and path, but I disagree with that. In my thoughts and opinions, I definitely believe that Secret Invasion is in a step of its own and doesn't really copy and paste much of what we've seen with the MCU previously before. It's probably as close to maybe the Winter Soldier Captain America film, but other than that, it's definitely in its own clear direction and path going for its genre, the way that this show was created, and everything in that nature as well. This is something perhaps best displayed in the series' main villain though, however. Kingsley Ben-Adir remains a quietly menacing presence as Gravik, his calmness and cutthroat nature only making his diabolical plans more unsettling. The reveal of his master plan is welcome at this midway point, but also sees the show lean away from its paranoid spy thriller background and chase more traditional superhero trappings as they come to the forefront. Although there were hints previously that the plot would head in this direction from different whispers, teases, and rumors, I'd be lying if it didn't spark a small eye roll from IGN in their article. I really think and believe that their only complaint is the main villain, Gravik, and the way that this character is being told, and you can't really work around that all that much. You have to know the clear-cut motives of the villain, and not to mention that they're taking this from the comic book pages. They can't warp a villain all that much to fit the small screen in this case and change it around. In that sense, it just would have to create an all-new villain. That said, there's still an element of paranoia on display. The sometimes solo nature of this overall mission is also remnants of Robert Redford in 3 Days of the Condor, two leads who never managed to let their unidentifiable cool fail from cutting through the most desperate of situations. These murky moments are what make up much of Secret Invasion's overall intrigue, so it's a shame that the show can't wait to get Fury partnered back up as soon as possible then. And even then, I'm recording this before, or rather when episode 4 is actually out. So maybe I know a thing or two that also kind of alters this whole idea as well. Now, while his scenes with Talos are enjoyable in their buddy cop nature, it's these quippy conversations that drain a lot of the tension out of what could be a legitimately thrilling spy story. It's another example of the MCU getting in its own way and falling back on the familiar rather than chasing something truly different. There's a lack of commitment to the genre Secret Invasion is claiming to really be, which is just far frustrating in the eyes of IGN in their article when you look at what something as uncompromising as Andor achieved in the Star Wars universe. If you're a Star Wars fan, I have a Star Wars channel linked in the description down below. Sadly, Secret Invasion is more than happy to play it safe by comparison, but it is good to see that Marvel overall is wanting to branch off and explore new territory, especially going forward. As I have mentioned in our previous review videos here on Secret Invasion, it's paving a more dark and gritty type of overall genre and storylines and narratives going forward, something that's going to have to be clear and cut for upcoming characters and superheroes and shows and projects like Daredevil, Punisher, and the future of Spider-Man, and so many other directions that the MCU wants to expand on going forward. This doesn't take away from any of the actors' work on screen though, however. Samuel L. Jackson's performance as Nick Fury is as strong as it has been since Winter Soldier, and further proof that he shines brightest when moving in the shadows of this world. We also see more of the human side of Nick Fury than we ever have before. It's a welcome look into his personal life, with Jackson leaning leaning into his softer side with ease. These scenes add precisely unseen dimensions to his character, but are more crucial in adding yet more personal stakes to the globally threatening story. Alongside that, Talos and Gaia bond is something that adds another reason for us to care about the people we're spending time with, and the collateral damage that they may become in the future of this show, rather than just all eyes being focused on a villain's main plot that we know will ultimately likely fail, even based off of the Marvel's trailer, something that's been out now for the last couple of months, heavily spoils stuff that happens and goes on with this show. They'll probably get everything cleaned up, and everything will be back to normal by the time that movie actually rolls around, which is kind of disappointing, but I feel like that's something to discuss and talk about in a whole nother video that I'll probably have out here on the channel. Anyway, Samuel L. Jackson continues to lead a cast that is studded with stars with top-class performers such as Ben Mendelsohn and Olivia Colman, having the maximum impact on the few scenes that they do have. Ben Mendelsohn is the pick of the bunch, with Talos' story allowing him a great range of emotions to play in. Coleman is clearly having a lot of fun playfully welding her own brand of slightly unhinged power, and not to forget, Emilia Clarke continues to engage as Gaia, even if she does feel oddly sidelined for much of this episode. They're aided for the most part by a fairly strong script and overall narrative, and while I'm not overly keen on the direction that the plot appears to be taking, the scenes that make up its story are believably written, with dialogue bouncing around its many darkened rooms. And although the characters and plot may be trying to conquire and conjure up images of classic spy thrillers, there's very little in the images themselves that honor them. The look of Secret Invasion is very much taken from the Marvel-styled guide, with interesting cinematography coming at a premium, establishing drone shots of cities and static close-ups making up most of what's to offer. They do a job, never taking their eye off the action, but it all just feels like a missed opportunity to stamp its own style on proceedings. But I heavily disagree with that IGN and your article. I think that this overall cinematography is something totally out of the range that we've ever seen with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is hard to do. So the fact that they don't credit them on that and acknowledge it, and if for anything go against that, is disheartening. But yeah, Secret Invasion, in my thoughts and opinions, in its cinematography is beyond amazing, and it looks totally visually appealing in every other way, and is totally unique and different. So, we're halfway through Secret Invasion now, and I'm still not 100% sure if the show quite knows what it wants to be, says IGN in their article. At times, it threatens to break out into a genuinely exciting espionage thriller, but there are too many signs pointing towards a more conventionally MCU-like resolution to its premise. Without the superpowered cast of the comic book run to play with its story, it seems destined to create its own through an underwhelmingly typical villainous plan, rather than play with the global superpowers that the Skrulls have seeded themselves into, which, well, just hold on for the finale. I'm hopeful that there are more interesting stories beats to come, as Secret Invasion presents a genuinely intriguing proposition, but for now, a lack of commitment stops it from standing out in the crowd. I disagree with that entirely, as you guys know. I'm just reading from IGN in their article. I'll have it linked in the description down below, of course. Overall, with their verdict reads, Episode 3 of Marvel's Secret Invasion frustrates as much as it enthralls. With the lack of clear direction, what started a genuinely exciting premise for a new brand of MCU show is threatening to fall into the same trap set by its predecessors. There are things to like here, though, however, with strong performances anchoring a story that still holds a reasonable level of intrigue, but its half-hearted approach to the spy thriller genre prevents it from ever being as gripping as it could be, and that's where their article concludes. They do a lot of complaining about the overall genre of the show. As we know, Secret Invasion has been described as, well, a spy thriller, and they don't necessarily believe that they follow through with that. I think that they could maybe work on that a little bit more in future episodes, but that doesn't make or break the overall show, which they're letting it completely and entirely kind of control everything that they have to say about this show. Anyway, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys all think, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching today's video. This has been Unofficial MCU. Have a great one, guys. Peace out.